So welcome back, everyone. While we're waiting, I would like to welcome Bert Optebeck, founder of Microinsurance Master from Belgium. He is the host and the facilitator of this very interesting panel on turning failure into success. This conference aims at learning from each other, and we want to learn what worked and what did not work so that we can avoid mistakes. And I think I'm expecting a lot from this session to hear what did not work and how you made a success out of your failures. So thank you very much, Bert, for organizing this. While we wait for people coming in, I would like to walk you very quickly again through the housekeeping slide for those of you who haven't seen it yet. So please mute yourself unless you're speaking for the better quality. Very important, this session is being recorded and we will make it available on the conference website later. Also, presentations will be uploaded to the conference website, and we already uploaded the one from the previous session. Please use the Q&A feature to ask questions, and for any technical issues, you can use the chat and message the MIN executive team via the chat. So again, welcome back, and I would like to give the microphone to Bert.
Thank you so much, Dirk, for raising the bar with regards to your expectations, but obviously also for you and the Munich Re Foundation and Microinsurance Network for organizing the conference. It's our annual come together to which a lot of us are always looking forward to, including myself, and also for allowing us to host this second session on turning failure into success. Indeed, you pointed it out, Dirk, we're here to learn from each other, and that is indeed what we would like to do right now here as well. Failure is not so much an opposite to success, but we believe part of success as well. If you don't fail, if you never fail in setting microinsurance, then probably you really haven't pushed it to the boundaries, to really the extreme, and to see what really works and what are some of the challenges and what does not work. And so I'm really delighted that we have found three leaders willing to share some of these learnings that they have gone through when working on their microinsurance products and the launch, and what were some of the challenges in the early days. So in the next hour and a half, we will learn from some of the product launches and growth and challenges that they had from Radiant Yachu, where Ovia Tuhere, the CEO, will walk us through. From Moin Ahmed from Green Delta, where he is the additional managing director, and also from SoftLogic, where Tilanka Kirpo-Ruwa will walk us through some of their product launches. And Jerry Claude, he's an accomplished microinsurance leader. He brought the business of Pioneer Insurance in the Philippines from 250,000 to 18 million enrollments in 5 years. So he will be here to kind of walk us through some of the lessons that he learned, but also that he's learning from these three cases and what we really should take home with. We want this session to be as interactive as possible, and especially to make sure that it is really responding your questions. So I would like to invite you as of now to start using the Q&A to raise questions, and I will try to integrate the questions in our conversation as we go along, so that by the end of the session, we are sure that your question is surely answered. So do keep on posting your questions throughout. We don't have a Q&A necessarily at the very end, but I will try to introduce them throughout the session. In full disclosure, all of the people here on the panel are affiliated in some way or another to Microinsurance Master. Ovia, Tilanka are alumni. Moin had someone of his team to join Microinsurance Master. And we also ran the first microinsurance masterclass at Green Delta. And Jarek, he's all in. He has both been hosting two of our accelerator programs at Pioneer and is a coach. So there is some affiliation there, but all of the credits and all of the hard work that the people will present is really down to themselves. So with that, I think we are very ready to get this thing started. So I would like to first go to Rwanda, where Ovia, I hope, and I think it's still a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Bert.
Ovia, you're leading Radiant Yachu, and that's a very exciting company because it's the first and only, so far, dedicated microinsurance company in the country and even in East Africa. So a lot of eyes and pressure are on you, I imagine. You started in 2019, and as you can see on this slide, already quite some products that you have launched since. How is that going?
Thank you so much, Bert. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Ovia. I'm the CEO of Radiant Yachu Microinsurance Company, the only dedicated microinsurance company in Rwanda, like Bert said, not only in Rwanda, but in the whole of East Africa. The company was licensed in 2019 to do composite products. Here I mean both life and general microinsurance products. Yeah, and on a mission to improve our clients' lives through provision of innovative and customer-centric inclusive insurance products. So the company is still young. We are 3 years old, but I must say it's doing well. It has started to do well, and we are really looking forward to one day be like pioneer, like Bert said. Yeah, so
Fantastic.
But that's it. We have a variety of products. One of our first product that we designed is called Turikumwe, but we shall come back to that. We have students' liability insurance, we have livestock insurance, and we have credit life insurance, personal accident and group personal accident microinsurance products.
Great.
So yeah.
We are going to zoom in a little bit further on Turikumwe, but I'm intrigued. What does it mean?
Oh, thank you, Bert. Yeah, actually I had forgotten. So Turikumwe is our Kinyarwanda language. It means we are together. We are together.
And this is, if I get it right, this is really your one or the star product of Radiant Yachu, right? Yes. This is the product that you're really very and for good reasons proud about. It started in 2019 with a human-centered design sprint, where you went to seek some of the groups. You can see some of the pictures to understand where some of the needs, and then it was launched. So let's go into that. We have a graph here that Hugo's going to walk us through. So it's still a fairly young product, right? Because it was launched in Q4 2019. And tell us a bit what it actually has and what it does.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bert. Like you said, we started designing this product, of course, with research and all that stuff, like you know. And the other processes were sponsored by Access Finance in 2018, towards the end. And in 2019, that's when we launched the product to motor taxi cooperatives members. The product is a bundled product that has accidental death, permanent disability, funeral cover, hospital cash. And the price was only $1, which is equivalent to 1,000 of our Rwandan francs. And it was only by that time piloted on motorcycle drivers here in Kigali.
Why did you decide to go for motorcycle drivers first?
Yeah, very good question, Bert. Our mother company, Radiant Insurance Company, is actually a company that does general insurance products. So here in Rwanda, we have, by that time, yeah, we had around 70,000 motorcycle drivers, and all like 95% were all insured with our mother company, Radiant Insurance Company. So when we were designing this product together with Access Finance Rwanda, we saw that it could give us scale. The market segment was already there, and we saw that it could really give us a good scale in Radiant Yachu.
Great. And so I understand from what you were saying that the sales was going through their cooperatives. So the motor taxis are organized in cooperatives. They were collecting the premium for you. And that was quite a promising start, isn't it? 555 enrollments. And then obviously the dollar equivalent, as it's approximately $1, it's 555. It's a small but promising start. But then we see Q1 2020 that already there is a dip. What's happening there?
Well, maybe to start with 2019, yes, after when we did this research, we asked, motorcycle drivers and the heads of cooperatives here, they call them presidents. So we asked them the way they want this premium to be collected, and they were all like through cooperatives. The members or the motorcycle drivers were like, we trust our cooperatives, so we can always give the money to our cooperatives, and then they pay insurance for us. Even the presidents of these cooperatives were like, oh yeah, we are ready to partner and work with you and give you this money every month. So we started with we had started with 5 cooperatives that had close to 4,000 members. So for the first year, we had only 555 enrollments with the USSD equivalent to 555 USD dollars. And it was really, it was a start. So we're like, oh, maybe it will come slowly, and one day it will really be a good business for us. So first quarter 2019, we didn't worry so much. We were like, it's just a new product, new company, new everything. So maybe let's see in the second quarter. So second quarter, it became worse. Like you're seeing the figures. The enrollments were 124 motorcycle drivers, and we only got 124 US dollars, which was really, I just wanted to say discouraging, but it was really discouraging, but we never gave up. So we continued to find out why, because this was our first product. We couldn't let it go just like that. So we started trying to go back to cooperative members, to presidents, and these motorcycle drivers on the road, asking them what went wrong, what happened. And you know what, Bert? These people, the motorcycle drivers, told us that they were paying this money. They paid the money, they paid their contributions every month to cooperatives, but the presidents never deposited this money to our bank accounts. So wow. That's what we found out, but yeah.
That's both encouraging that the motor taxi drivers were seeing some value and wanted to buy it, but then obviously discouraging that the distribution approach that you had with the cooperatives didn't fell flat actually quite rapidly indeed. So you had to go back to the drawing board. So how did you address that? What did you do there?
Sure, we went back to our drawing board and we're like, now what do we do? So maybe before that, the reason why they never deposited this money to our bank accounts, it is because they had other priorities. That's why they told us that some had got some loans from banks, from MFI, microfinance institutions. And, some had, constructed their cooperative houses. Some had bought lands to construct houses. Some have bought, had bought other assets to bring in, to generate more income for the cooperative. So they saw insurance not as a priority, but the members were contributing knowing that the presidents are buying insurance for them. So when we went back to our drawing board, we were like, now what do we do? Because again, we didn't think about this solution alone, because we went back and asked these motorcycle drivers what we could do, because they were also angry. They were like, no, this can't happen for us. We thought we had insurance. Now what if something happens? Yeah, so what we did, we asked them what they feel could be what we could do. So many of them said, can't there any way how we can pay this money straight to to you, to your company. Can't you give us your bank accounts? But again, we found that giving these people bank accounts to go and deposit 1,000 per month, it would also be a very, it would not actually be sustainable. So that's when we thought of designing a USSD. But then before that, we asked them, what if we design something for you where you could actually use your phones to pay this money directly to Radiant? And they were like, wow, that would be a very, very good solution for us. So that's how we designed a USSD in Q2 of 2020. And we also designed, like we repriced our solution. Well, like now we have 1,000 as that was it. So we said, what if we break it down and we bring in other lower prices? So we came out with 25 cents, which is equivalent to 250 Rwandan francs, and then 500, which is equivalent to 0.5 US dollars, and then up to $10. So like we have 25 cents, then 0.5, then we have $1, $2, $3, up to $10,000. And you know what, wow. When we launched that, when we told the audience, because when we launched the USSD, the product was no longer only for the motorcycle drivers. We said, now that we have launched the USSD, why don't we scale it out, like, you know, to the whole, to everyone, whoever really is okay with it can purchase the product. So we let it go to everyone. We advertised, and as you can see in the third quarter of 2020, the numbers increased a bit. Yes, the numbers increased, but you can still see the premium is very low, meaning that many of them, they opted. Sorry, but go ahead.
No. I mean, a bit. I wanted to actually say quite dramatically, but if you look at it, from 700, you jump to 10,000, and then even to 77,000. So just for our understanding here, Ovia, you started with Mototaxi. Opening it to USSD obviously makes it available for everyone. So is it still mainly Mototaxi drivers at that point in time who sign up, or is it like nationwide and a variety of people who sign up?
Okay, still we had to work hard, like to encourage these motorcycle drivers to continue with us. But again, we let it go to everyone. So even now, even at this moment, the product is actually mostly, you know, bought by these motorcycle drivers, because at the end, maybe we shall come to that. But we decided, like I said, our mother company has the biggest portfolio of motorcycle drivers. So we embedded the premium into the price of a motorcycle third party. So still we still have the biggest segment today, of motorcycle drivers today. But most of other people are buying, but you know, taking up these small premiums of 25 cents, you know, and all that stuff. That's why you can see third quarter we have a lot of enrollments, but the premium is low, because it was no longer 1,000, so people could buy the lowest, you know, trying to test the product. Maybe that's what we think, but now we can see, sure.
Cool. Yeah, we're going to speed up a little bit here, but so we see indeed that in Q4 2020, you're pushing the USSD sales, as you're saying, to make more promotion there, and then you stepped into a new partnership with MFS Africa, which is a remittances company, isn't it?
Yes,
so how did they work with the product?
You mean the MFS Africa?
Yes.
Well, this is a company that, you know, whenever you send money, like they work in, I think 5 countries, Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania, Zambia. So whenever people send money from Rwanda, you know, to those other countries, maybe it's friends, relatives, there is some loyalty to the Kumwe product that is given to them. So it has also really actually given us scale.
All right, perfect. So, and it's bundled. So there, people get it as a free cover. So that's generating a lot of sales, isn't it?
Yes, they get it. It's free. It's it's free. And I forgot to mention that it was MFS Africa in partnership with Inclusivity Solutions.
All right. So there you seem to be on a high, in the sense that you really are going from 10,000 to 70,000 to 132,000 in Q1 2021 amidst the pandemic in the meantime. So that's quite impressive. But as you pointed out already a couple of times, like you were growing a number of people, but not necessarily in income. So you have some tweaks that you made, some changes. And then we see indeed in Q2 2021 that suddenly the income catches up with the number of insureds. How did you make that happen, Novia?
Well, in Q1 and in Q2 2020, and actually, yeah, from Q1 2020, Q2 2020. We made sure that we introduced this product to our staff, Radiant Insurance Company staff, our mother company, and then Radiant ICII staff, all our branches, all our agents, they now buy this product at a monthly basis. It's not compulsory, but they all actually buy because there is some benefit. Whenever you decide, like I told you about the ranges in premium, whenever you decide that myself, I'll be paying, for example, the one of $10, let's say $5, the company tops up for you the same amount for you at least to get a higher benefit. So it has really also grown our sales so high.
All right, perfect. And so you mentioned already that that then in 2021 you also bundled it with the TPA product of the mother company Radiant, who has quite some motor taxis, which also helped, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. 2021 Q2, we had actually because to us it's like the product wasn't again doing the way we wanted it to perform. So we had to go back and do another research. I think, again, with the help of Access Finance Rwanda, we again did another research to see how we can, increase sales, increase scale for this product. We had another training with someone came and trained us, and we were like, because he asked us the channels, because we have USSD, we had USSD by then, and we had MFS Africa, but again, there was no scale like we wanted. So he advised that what if now we bundle the premium. After doing the research, the motor riders that we met, who asked them, what if we try to bundle this premium to your price of motor taxi third party? They were like, that would actually help us because we always forget, paying monthly, we forget. So we did that. We came back and then we spoke with our mother company and they accepted. And now the product was again bundled with the Radiant third-party liability insurance. So it has also given us a lot of scale. And then we advertise, we use social media ads to make sure that we scale it out further. And we are still trying many more avenues to make it better. But are you there?
All right. Yes, I had some issues with my sound, but I got you there.
Sorry.
Great. Thank you also for everyone for the many questions we have. We need to wrap up here, Ovia, but I have one question that I want to see answered because a lot of people are asking this. Tell us a little bit about the profitability now of this product. Where does it stand? Are you breaking even already? Is it still far-fetched? And how do you cope with that? Is it cross-subsidized? Do you get funding from external organizations? How do you make meets ends on this one?
Yeah, thank you, Brad, for that question. We don't have any external sponsors except the access finance, one that was given to us to do some advertisements and all that stuff, but that was at the start of 2021. So we no longer have that, but at least it helps us a lot. And when it comes to profitability, I must say the product is now profitable. At the start, I must say it was really very, very loss making, but because of bundling our the premium with the motorcycle drivers, because it's like now mandatory to them. So it became actually, we've broken even. So it's profitable, I must say, at this moment.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ovia, for this. There's some additional questions waiting for you in the Q&A that you might want to look into, but it's already a very interesting story you're sharing here. And again, one that is demonstrating that it's not a walk in the park to run microinsurance. There are some hurdles along the way that you foresee, some not, like partners who are not playing out as you wanted to, and change you need to make. And you need to have that agility to kind of to go in, to see and to change. We'll come back to some of the lessons that we learned here, but now actually I would like us to move to afternoon time, and that's in Bangladesh, where Moin Ahmed is with us from Green Delta Insurance Company, one of the microinsurance pioneers in that country as well, with already over 1.5 million lives that are impacted that through the various of policies that you have, Moin. We can see here a breakdown of your products. So it's already quite an impressive portfolio on health, agriculture, and then Nivedita. What does that mean, Nivedita? What does it cover?
Nivedita is a specific product designed for the woman, addressing to the health and also to some extent the asset protection. And the interesting part is it also covers a significant portion on wellness side, from like the acid victim, if somebody goes through a road bullies. So there is a component in the on the coverage where they get a compensation for these kind of harassments if they go through it.
All right, fantastic. So we're going to double click on the agriculture insurance, where you launched in 2016 with first an index-based pilot, and then include some more covers thereon. You have quite some numbers on the slide, so we're going to watch very closely. But what we see is we see both premium, we see number of insured, which you started with 215 farmers insured, and then we also can see, and that's something we will explore as well, is like what happens on the other side, which is when it comes to claims, how many claims and the amount of claims that you paid. So Moin, walk us through what are we seeing here in 2016? What did you start with, and who are the farmers you're insuring there?
Yeah, thank you, Bert, for giving us the opportunity. What you're seeing here is a snapshot of the journey that Green Delta Insurance has over the last 5 years. We started very small, very small. Started with only 250 farmers, and gradually we have learned so many things in the process, and before reaching 100,000 farmer mark in this year as well. So in 2016, we still remember when we were rolling out this program with the assistance from IFC. IFC is one of the equity partner of Green Delta Insurance. So when they came to us in 2015 and introduced us this weather index concept, and we immediately started working on it. Based on that, it took us about more than a year to design the basic framework for the product, which is a weather index based product. Now in 2016, and we actually rolled out this product into the field with 215 members, one of the remotest places in Bangladesh. And fortunately, I would say there was a claim, and we paid the amount was not so significant, but out of 215, we paid a claim to 200 farmers, which I believe it was a wonderful start for a program like this, because this kind of insurance in a densely populated country like Bangladesh, where economy is growing, it's all about seeing is believing, because insurance is not a product which is looked up to in Bangladesh. The penetration rate is still less than 0.6% of GDP. So here people have a perceived notion, which is a negative sense on insurance. So we, from the day one with IFC Green Delta, we wanted to capitalize on giving away claim on a prompt note as well as showcasing the same. And that has helped us to grow the numbers in terms of farmers, in terms of premium, and in terms of the learning. So 2016 was an embanking year for Green Delta Insurance, where we encountered like three major challenges, basically. First and foremost thing, giving the concept or the awareness of insurance among the people at the below the poverty line or close to the poverty line, where they live by hand to mouth in many of the occasions. For them, insurance or any kind of financial product is a luxury. So to break that myth, to tell them that insurance is a tool which will help you in your need. So awareness, that was the biggest challenge in the early days. Followed by, and I
like a lot. Sorry, go ahead, Moin.
Yeah, carry on. So it was followed by that. It was the technical knowledge and capacity from our side as well. I mean, it's a fairly a new concept in Bangladesh. Till now, we are the only one who is actually pushing it hard. And in 2016, you can imagine that we did not have any knowledge whatsoever how a weather index based product looks like, how it can be rolled out, how a product can be designed. So we are really thankful to IFC, who has really came down and helped us to do the capacity building from our side, and which has been a learning curve till now as well. We are still learning every day. So that's,
I imagine. Yes. My question maybe, Moin, is so how did you reach the farmers? And is that individually you work with some of the NGOs or cooperatives you're associated with? How does that work?
Actually, yeah, you see, the initial stage, it was more of a reaching one-to-one basis, because we didn't know what kind of platform actually will give us the reach. So it was initially a one-to-one basis, which we soon realized that this is not going to help us in scaling it up. Then we realized that in Bangladesh, since the land size is pretty small and the cultivable land area is getting smaller every year, we realized that a lot of corporates, big corporates, are getting into an agriculture farming, which is called, this contract farming thing. Then we reach out to them. Like we try to convince them, we try to pursue them, like you are doing a contract farming, we should bundle it with your contract farming system. Then again, we faced a lot of challenges. As you know, corporates are more on a profit-driven motive. They thought or they took insurance as an expense, additional expense for their business. They didn't look at it from an investment perspective. So we had to do a lot of dry runs even before we roll out to the field. And even during the dry runs, we faced a lot of trouble. Like we did dry runs for like 2 consecutive sessions, and there was no claim whatsoever. Then we stopped doing the dry run, and that immediate season, they had a claim. So it was more of a chicken and egg situation kind of things. And we also rolled out one product for cassava. And you understand, cassava is a very weather resilient product. So that was a wrong decision for us. We did a product, rolled it out, but eventually there was no claim. So there was no scaling up of that product. So the learning we had that, no, we have to move into more weather vulnerable products rather than weather resilient products. So from there, contract farming, we then move into bundling it up with the input givers, the distribution channel partners, MFIs. So we went into a deeper session of the distribution points in the agriculture ecosystem. So to find out where we can scale it up, and eventually, I must say this is a few of the names here, like with the help of Syngenta Foundation and Syngenta Bangladesh, Oxfam, care with few of these global agencies with the Bangladesh operation, we have been able to reach out to a scale till now where we can say this could be a hybrid model whereby we can use multiple channels to scale up and reach to the farmers.
Cool. That's already two really insightful lessons that you got from trying it and failing. Is one, how to reach one-to-one not working through the cooperatives, or sorry, the companies neither, but then working with organizations like Syngenta Foundation, Care, and what have you, MFIs. And secondly, on the crop you mentioned, pick the right crop, because we were insuring some crop that maybe don't need insurance after all. Right, let us go back to this this chart and see how things work out chronologically, even though we'll have to speed up a little bit. But we see, so you got started, and then in 2017, you added some additional services like crop advisory and weather forecast messages that you sent. And that helped because you grew from about, 215 to 3,500 farmers, and again doubled in 2018. The partnerships that you mentioned here, this is the ones you were referring to, right? This is the kind of the organizations that you started working with.
Yes, we started working with them on 2018, late 2018, and it actually started giving us the result from 2019, if you could see the graph. And right. I must mention, if you allow me, in 2017, when we realized in 2016 that insurance is not a product that people look up to, specifically the farmers, then we thought of how we can give them more value-based services which they can realize and which they can eventually think this is a service that they are getting even in the event of no claim. So the corporate advisory through like SMS, through weather forecast, through contact center, and those kind of things, this has really helped the farmers to get a grip on the belief that insurance system can actually be beneficial even if there is no claim. So that was a very insightful learning for us, which we think has helped us in the going forward developing the ecosystem. And as I said, 2018, we started working with agriculture input givers and other multiple MFIs and donor agencies in scaling up the products as well as the numbers.
Right, great. And so 2019, there's quite some things happening, it seems, because again, you from 3, you double to 6, from 6, you double to even more to 14, almost 15,000. And also, I believe you're one of the first companies who work in micro with a flood index insurance that you launched there. So what is that? What does it do?
The flood index?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me highlight one thing in the graph. If you could see the yellow line with that has also started to climbing up from 2019.
The claims.
So flood index is one of the product which is based on weather index as well. It's basically giving a coverage for the flood affected crops. And as you know, Bangladesh is one of the biggest delta in the world, and it is situated in the lower stream of the Ganges. So flood is one of the perils which has been happening since its inception, almost every year, if not every year, every alternate year. And one of the biggest devastation that has been caused to the crops is by flood in Bangladesh, if not by any other cyclone or any other things. Now, you might say that the rainfall, annual rainfall that we have in Bangladesh is not as high as in many parts of India. Then why there is this flood? As I said, the Bangladesh is located in the lower stream of Ganges. Because of the high rainfall in the upper stream, like in China, in India, the water drains down towards the Bay of Bengal. And whenever there is an excess rainfall in either in China or in India, the water flows down. And without even having an excess rainfall in Bangladesh, we get flood. I mean, now, even when we are sitting there at this moment, we are having floods in many of the bordering villages, which is caused by the upstream flash flood. So flood index is a product which we designed with the help of Oxfam and CARE, whereby we try to identify the areas which are mostly flood prone and what are the crops are there and how we can actually build a sustainable product. The initial experience we have about flood, it was not at all sustainable for two reasons. There was a heavy havoc on the claims, and because of the claims, the next year the pricing went up, and it has become one of the most expensive product at this moment. So we are still trying to find the sweet spot whereby we can say, okay, the flood index, this is the best flood index product for Bangladesh. So we are still doing a lot of trial and error basis. Right.
I see that. And you talk about the yellow line, and then we see 2020, that the yellow line goes still higher up and it gets close to your premium, right? So from the 130,000 income, 112, 13 goes to claims. So it is responding to a need for sure, but obviously you need to also make it work as insurer. So tell us a bit about that.
I mean, as I said, every year, if not every year, every alternative year, there is very huge flood havoc occurs in the remotest parts of Bangladesh. And one of the area we chose in 2020 is we call it Haur area. Haur area is an area in the southern west region of Bangladesh, whereby a lot of water bodies are there. And in this region also, 30%, more than 30% of the paddies are being grown. One of the specific species of paddy are being grown here, which contributes 30% of the total production of the country. So every year, what happens during the month from March to May, June, there is this the flood causes either for excess rainfall or for the flash flood from the upper stream. The government, for the very first time in the history of Bangladesh government has mentioned that they should do something with insurance to rehabilitate this particular area of farmers. And we have been privileged to be a part of the program, whereby Ministry of Finance has really pulled up their string. They have put all the stakeholders in one table and try to formulate a program for these farmers of this Haur area, whereby we were there as an insurer. The state-owned insurance company was there as an insurer. Then the distribution partner was there, Oxfam. Then Syngenta was trying to be a part of it, but they didn't have that kind of presence there. Then the few ministries who are really dealing with the flood and those things, they all came to the table together, and we were trying to develop a product for these flood victims. And out of this, we did about 300 plus farmers from that region, whereby we also settled claim for all of them because there was a flood. So then this year also we did the same kind of product with a slightly higher pricing, but you see the claim was not that high, because what happened from the previous year's experience, the farmers became more smarter. They harvested the product, the paddy, before even there was a alarming sign of the flash flood. So since the harvested was done before the flood happened, but it don't really affect the paddy crop. So fortunately there was no claim, though there was a chance of claim was higher. So we are still trying to figure it out.
So maybe one thing that if you look at the graph in total, one of the things that is striking is that if you look 2016, the ratio is approximately $12 premium on average for 215 farmers. And you go to 2021 and it's almost one-on-one. So you have 105,000 people insured and 107,000 as premium income. So talk us a bit about, like, did you indeed reduce the premium over time, or it's because of the mix of products that there are some that are more revenue drivers and others more growth drivers in terms of insurance?
See, it's a mixture of many components. First of all, we immediately, because at the initial stage we were not sure about the pricing of the product, we were still learning. So as we went along, we learned more about what sort of pricing may work fine under which crop and which particular geographic area. So that was one of the learning, and we are getting experience with every season we pass by. That's number one. Number two, when we really decided to scale it up in 2018, because the pilot with IFC ended in 2018, and we thought of now we have to go for commercial production. So we realized we have to scale it up, and pricing has always been a factor in Bangladesh for insurance. So we tried to find out the sweet spot whereby we can actually reduce the price significantly. One of the example I can give you have seen in 2017, we started with crop advisory and notifications kind of thing, which we had to forego from 2018 onwards, because that is actually building up the cost. And by getting rid of that, of course, we are reducing the benefits of it, but then again, we could reduce the price by 15 to 20%, which has really brought down the cost to a different level. Now, when we are trying with different distribution channels, based on the size of the farming land, we are trying to devise a product which is really affordable by the farmers, because initially it was more of a premium subsidy driven program, but we are trying to move into a program whereby it is self-sustained by the farmers. So there was no other option but to reduce the price by taking a higher risk. And you could see from the slide, it's $1 right now. And we believe we have roughly about 50 million families, which are farmers which are directly or indirectly related to the crop production of Bangladesh. Even if you can have like out of 50 million, 5 million, and with this pricing, you could see we really have a volume to play with. So that's the whole idea. We want to scale it up, and for that we are willing to take a risk. And we are also consciously trying to do showcasing of claim settlement, which will help us to grow, I believe.
Thank you so much. And a little TK pointed out that there probably is somewhere a typo on the gray one, as it's going up from 2027 to 107,000. So we'll make sure we correct that one as we share the slides on the website thereafter. But I think the story that you bring more is clear and concise. So a lot of lessons here as well on product, on distribution, on pricing, claims, getting that right. And it seems that it's still very much an ongoing story indeed. So thank you so much, Moin, for sharing this already. We'll get back to this later, but now I want to move on to our third case that we want to present. So we move to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, where Tilanka Kiripo Ruwa, I hope I say that correctly, Tilanka is waiting for us. Tilanka SoftLogic has already quite some footprint in the microinsurance landscape in Sri Lanka, indeed, with 900,000 people insured. You were one of the organizations that started very early on working with Bima. You have an investment from Leapfrog, and so the mobile is really something that you have gained a lot of traction in with over 500,000 people insured. And then MMSE, telesales. And what we're going to talk about is the postal product, which initially, when you introduced it to me, I was like, okay, but it's still very low in numbers. And why would you care if you have already like almost 600,000 of mobile insured? But there is quite some lessons into it. And I know a lot of insurers are interested in this untapped potential of the postal offices. So what has been the driver for SoftLogic to try out selling through postal branches?
First of all, thank you, Bert, and the organization for giving this opportunity. So SoftLogic Life is the third largest life insurer in Sri Lanka. We are a $120 million top line company, and micro insurance we started about 3 years ago with the mobile insurance. Why we started micro insurance? SoftLogic Life is the only micro insurance targeted channel that is available in Sri Lanka. So why we wanted to do that is to give back to the community in terms of the bottom of the pyramid and make affordable insurance accessible to all our customer segments in Sri Lanka. Like Moin said, in Bangladesh, 0.6% penetration GWP. Sri Lanka is 0.5% to GWP penetration in life insurance. So it's very, very low, and the potential is humongous. So postal insurance, coming back to why, this is one of the largest established networks in Sri Lanka. I feel almost every country has the postal network. So we have about 4,800 plus post offices in Sri Lanka, about 8,000 postmen walking to each door household every day, tapping on the door to give letters, notifications. So this is a network that is untapped. When I came up with this idea, even at the Turin Inclusive Insurance Program, ILO, I was actually called by the end of the program postman because I was talking a lot about the postal insurance plan. So this is one of the aspirations that SoftLogic also has. We are very technologically driven company. So we want to somehow push and go into areas and develop those untapped markets. So postal, we feel, is one of the best areas.
So you have some career options if microinsurance wouldn't work out after all. That's cool. Now, Tilanka, you did really time your launch on a good moment, isn't it? Q1 2020, and we all know what happened there. So we plotted on the graph the red periods, basically when there was a national lockdown, and so postal offices weren't in full operation, and then you even had like regional lockdowns on top of that, which aren't even marked. So you got started, and then very quickly got onto 500 sales, 500 people who bought insurance. So what are you selling there? What is it actually that you have on offer?
Right. So the product that was launched is a very mobile, the onboarding process is 100% mobile, Bert. This is just a scratch card. Where you scratch, there is a PIN number. You put your national identification number and send a simple SMS with that number, the secret number, to the port given. It's a short code, not a USSD. It's a SMS based, because USSD in Sri Lanka does not work. Unlike in Africa, it's not picking up at all. So mobile base is mainly on SMS, WhatsApp, that platform. So the product we launched was a very simple product, $1, and you get a life cover as well as a hospital per day cash benefit. And there wasn't any maturity. It's a month-on-month basis. You can buy the card from the postman who comes to your doorstep or at the post office. It's just like a mobile reload card. You just scratch it and you enter the PIN number to get enrolled onto the product. So that was the launch. Right. We timed it with the presidential elections.
Nice. And so, as it is a scratch card, what is the role of the postal office? So what do they need to do in distributing the product? Obviously, having it on display, but is there anything else they need to do?
So this product is exclusively pushed only through the postman and the post office. The customers can't go to any mom and pop shop and buy these cards. It's only available at these post offices. So what we wanted was to create the effect through the postman and the post office, because they already have a relationship with them at the village level, at the rural level. So the cards are only available at that post office or the postman, so they have to buy it through them.
Okay, so you got this launched in Q1, and then already very quickly there was some lockdown, but you also added some agents. Oh, I went a bit too quick there. You had some agents to support them, agents from SoftLogic, isn't it?
Yes. So, but one of the earliest things that we learned was that we were expecting the postman to push these cards, right? However, what we found out was it wasn't going to happen at that pace that we expected. So, what we wanted was to ensure the post officers are also coordinated, because as you can see, we have 4,000 villages far away in rural places, the communication. So there's a lot of questions for even the postman, right? Insurance is a push sale. People don't come and ask for it. So you have to have those awareness built as well. So what we did was we identified 4 provinces. There are 9 provinces in Sri Lanka, 4 provinces, and we put 4 agents to do the coordination part. It is for the registration, claims, or even any inquiries, because that was something that we felt would help us to build trust with the network as well.
Okay, and so yeah, you had to add in these agents to also educate the postal men and postmen there. If we move forward to then later of last year, you launched a second product. So how did that came about? Was this in the pipeline all along, or did you get some feedback from basically in the real world, from the field, that you had to do something differently?
Yeah, so this is one of the biggest learnings that I've found out from the postal. But I mean, going back to our learnings from Micro Insurance Masters and Pioneer Story, how we go back to the drawing board with the customer's feedback. So with the 4 agents coming on board for the provinces, we found out that the first product which we launched did not sit 100% well with the targeted market. So what they wanted was they wanted a return or a maturity. Even though it was a very small ticket item, these people were mode of investment or in savings mode. So what they put, they wanted something back. So we immediately went back again to our designing platforms, looking at what the customers are saying, to understand, okay, now this product is something that is required. So the lockdowns also did not help, because it was very difficult with the virus, lockdowns, because postal is one of these places that you distribute documents. So the touch and, the physical element is so high, people don't even want letters coming home. So we had a big problem. But with the feedback coming from the field itself, we went back and changed the product. So we have both the products alive and going, but predominantly the push is or the buy is also happening on the endowment product.
What is interesting here as well is that when we looked at Radiant and Green Delta, the push was a bit like to lower ticket sizes, whereas you basically kind of increase it from $1 to $10, but with the caveat that obviously people get something in return, because there is this savings component that you added to it. Do you find that you're selling this to a different audience, different subsegment, or is it the same people who want to buy this that were initially interested?
The first sales were done predominantly in the central region of Sri Lanka, where the hill country is. But when we expanded into other areas like the north and east, and also the south, the demographics, the thinking patterns also changed. So I think the feedback that we got is that different behavioral patterns need different treatment. So that is what we found out. So both the products are available. They can opt whatever they want, because most of them are daily wage earners, and also farmers and normal people who opt for these facilities. So they have the option. We give the 100% flexibility, and these are all technologically still based products to obtain.
Okay, but the learning didn't stop there, right? In Q1 2021, there was something else that you figured out. What was it?
Yeah. Yes. So again, lockdown helped us to regroup, and also to reflect a lot of things in terms of how we wanted to take it forward. What we did was in Q2 of 2021, we found out that the influence was much more stronger at the postmaster level. We were targeting the postman for almost 3 to 4 quarters of this product. What we found out was the motivation, the push, and the connection to the villagers was much more higher. The trust was much more higher at the postmaster level. So what we did was we did a slight change in our sales push. We went and tapped into the postmaster at the post office level and said, look here, we have a reward mechanism for you all. And if you all push this product, this is what you will get in terms of the reward. So what happened was, invariably, the postman anyway pushes because he works for the post office attached. So the post office itself is driven onto a target-based reward mechanism, which is also helping. And one of the other things that I wanted to share with you also, but nobody has done this in any other countries that I've seen micro insurance with Postal. You have insurance where you can pay your premium to Postal, but you've not had anybody selling insurance through the post office. So we did not have a learning or to extract from anywhere. So this is trial and error. And that's one of the best things of SoftLogic Life as well, the management, because they are allowing us to do this so that we find the best delta to, pivot on. So that's one of the latest things that we, found out. I think it's kicking in well. There was a lockdown again coming in, last few months, which also didn't help because of the collection and the activity levels reduced. But I'm pretty sure this has tremendous potential in terms of expansion and future growth.
Brilliant. And there's indeed quite some insightful and learnings. And not only that, you want to find the right distribution partner, but also you want to get it right in like the partnership to make it work and who's doing what. It's making such a difference, as we can see, where you initially started slow, you had to add the agents, and you can see how your revenue is increasing when it comes to the sales. Obviously, the sales is still rather modest, and especially compared to what you already have in your books, it's something. Where are you in terms of profitability with this? Is it still a far stretch? Do you need to kind of tenfold, or where are you?
Well, surprisingly, we will be most probably breaking even this year. So I think we are much better. So what we are trying to do now, Bert, is we are in the budgeting cycle for 2022, is also to experiment and see whether we want to go the slow, steady version, or push a bit more to see aggressively whether we want to maybe extend that break even or the profitability to another 1 or 2 years and grab the market, because we are still we still have the first move advantage in this postal network, and we are trying to keep it that way for as much as possible.
Perfect. Yes. So that's interesting. Already profitable, but not yet at the scale you would like it to be, if I may say it that way. Thank you so much, Tilanka, for sharing. This is really insightful as well. So what I would like to do next is to hear a little bit from Jarek Lord, who has been listening very carefully to some of the lessons and some of the findings that he got out. And as Jarek does so, this is also an invitation for everyone. We already got some great questions in the Q&A. Keep on sending those, because we want to see a little bit, what are some of the patterns? What have we learned here? What should be watched out for, so that we have something that when you go back after the session to your work, that you can also see what are the elements to look out for, and what are the failures that I can turn into success. So Jarek, what are some of your elements of answer when you look at some of the commonalities or some of the things that stand out for you?
Hi, Bert. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Bert, it's very, very good to hear stories of grit and of never giving up from our 3 panelists. Now, there are a lot of good lessons to highlight, and I have chosen 3 to further elaborate on. Let me talk about my first takeaway from their stories. I'd like to think that the first version of any product in microinsurance, most especially at the moment of launch, is never final. We often say that the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and it is the same here. A product's value proposition will always be tested after we launch it by our clients and partners. So one has to be constantly getting feedback as regards how all stakeholders are receiving, using, and benefiting from the product. Microinsurance organizations have to be agile enough to make the changes to the product and everything else related to it. Again, this idea is also applicable to strategies, not only products in microinsurance. Now, in my personal experience, Bert, it usually takes 3 years to get a product to a stable situation. So I'd like to encourage everyone not to be patient and not to make any drastic decision based on data of the first 2 years. One has to constantly ask and learn why are people buying it? Why are people not buying it? What are the pain points? What are they complaining about? What are they happy about? And you know, microinsurance organization always have to have this ability to listen and execute all of these learnings from clients. Now, one can sense this learnings from the craft shown that there are ups and downs. Success happens because of this organization's ability to learn and pick themselves up from failure. So that's the first takeaway. Now, my second takeaway is to a client, a product is not only benefits and premiums. Okay, what impacts customer experience should be front and center. And to a client, a lot of things happen to a product beyond the benefits and the premium. So this includes how the partners are dealing with them. In the case of Radiant Yachu, okay, this also includes processes, even technology. Is your technology making it easier for people or more difficult for people? So I call these elements, and there are a few more in this list, as the microinsurance product ecosystem. Now, to get a product right, one has to also think about the parts that impact customer experience. You know, are they suave, for example? I have to borrow this from Michael McCord. Are they affordable? Are you confident that your clients will talk highly of you after they have claimed from you? Always be reminded that not all people who get paid by claims are happy claimants. So is there something about your claims process that is not ideal for them? So these are a lot of questions that you need to think about, and it impacts the way clients appreciate products. Now, I like what Muin was saying about getting to the pricing sweet spot. This can be achieved by continuously talking to clients, partners, and other stakeholders. Note, the pricing sweet spot I've learned is not necessarily the cheapest. It just has to be the most affordable, equivalent to the value you're offering. So you have to figure that out where that is. Now, everyone, overall, for item 2, everyone is encouraged to talk to their customers. We have learned that this is a good way to tweak and polish products that have been launched in the market. Okay, now moving on to my third point, Bert. I really see a very big story as regards the value of partners in relation to scale. Okay, the story, for example, of our partners, our case studies here, say that one-on-one selling rarely works, but partnership works. Okay, and this is a story that is replicated across a lot of microinsurance success stories, not only in these 3 case studies, 3 companies. Now, as we think about partners, we also have to think about how to incentivize stakeholders of the partners. And this is very telling in the story of SoftLogic. They first started with the postmen, but they realized that the postmasters actually hold a lot of the relationships, is key to the relationships with their clients. So when we talk about incentivizing stakeholders of partnerships, we're not really talking necessarily here about financial incentives, although some would like to consider that. But it's essentially asking the question, what's in it for them? They often ask that, what's in it for me as a postmaster, as a postman, as the leader of a cooperative group? And one has to be able to figure out how to connect to those so that they can support the program. What we have learned in Pioneer, that there is always a motivating factor. So the challenge for any microinsurance organization is to figure that out. Overall, conversations with stakeholders make them feel that they are co-owners of the product and the program. And by getting their inputs, one doesn't have really to worry about success of the product in general, because you will get the feeling that they will help you get there. Okay, so all in all, Bert, I'd like to summarize all these 3 points with one word: experiment. Never fail to experiment, to do trial and error. Yes, there will be failures, but success will surely come after that. Thank you very much, Bert.
Cool. Never fail to experiment. I like that a lot. Maybe one question I have for you, Jarek, you mentioned in your third element, the co-ownership, and you're looking for the motivation factor. With that, I assume you don't necessarily mean commission. So what could be a motivation factor, say, for within the postal office or whatsoever to do that? Or in your experience, what are some other elements that you've seen that could tick this box?
Okay, very good question, Bert. I often see two parts to this. The motivation of the organization first, right? Any organization, especially one who is a business, will always probably would want to use microinsurance to make their clients happy, to add more clients, to retain clients, or to be better than competitions. Those are usually the predictable answers when I ask them these questions. Now, to the individual, especially if you're talking about employees, the answer revolves around what can help them make their work better. Like if you're a leader of that organization, how can microinsurance make you become an effective leader, and it can add to the business metrics? If you're the frontliner, you often ask the question, how can this product make me have a better relationship with clients? Okay, so those are really the non-commission monetary answers to the question.
Okay, thank you so much. Next, we are going to have a little bit of a conversation among us, but again, I would like to have your questions included in that conversation. So if you are sitting there and you have any question, put it in there, preferably in the Q&A, because that's the area where we're looking at and not the chat function. So in the Q&A, you can answer your question. And so going from what you were saying, Jarek, I have a question for the three speakers, and maybe starting with Tilanka, is never fail to experiment. So that's one thing. But what I'm actually wondering is, how do you, sitting in Colombo, get a sense of what's happening out there in the postal offices? Like, what is the feedback mechanism that you're getting from the field, from people in the postal branch throughout the country? With a lockdown, you're not the ability to go there. So, or is it that you're pushing the decision down to people in the field that they can make tweaks? How does that work? How can you act so quickly and say, we're going to launch a new product, we're going to change to postal masters, we're adding this, we're doing that? Walk us through how that works at SoftLogic.
Thanks, Bert. So it's tough actually, because as you know, postal department is a government organization, so there's a lot of red tape and the hierarchical systems, very difficult to get approvals. First thing is to build a very strong relationship with the partner and the Postmaster General and the hierarchy. Also, I would like to add, there's about 32 trade unions inside this. It's like a 40,000 big workforce. So there's about 32 trade unions. So it's not easy, just as you think, like very correctly what Jay said. It's not easy just to do changes, but to also do the conversations. So what we do is we have our field representatives as the coordinators. We have weekly meetings. Now, earlier it was them coming to Colombo, or me going to the central regions to meet them. Now it's through virtual. We have a lot of discussions. We plan around small sessions. We target about 10, 15 post offices. We do small awareness sessions and feedback sessions. Just like in Pioneer, how they do the customer immersion sessions, we do small sessions to extract the best ideas and also shortcuts. That's one of the best things that we can learn from these postmasters and the postmen. The shortcuts to getting through to the customers more, the society, small villages have, so that it's easier for us to go and pitch these ideas and also get the buy-in, because they have the trust as the postmaster and the postman. So we are just riding on that trust, because subsequent premium collection, like Richard has asked in the question, is actually collected by the postman and the postmaster. Our reward mechanism is structured around that, so that they are also motivated to go to each house and collect the premium on the subsequent. So that's how we have also done, and that's how the feedback mechanism works.
Cool. Thank you so much, Tilanka. And Moin, same question to you. I mean, ultimately, I believe you have three options. You can persevere with a product, you can pivot, you can make changes, or you can pull it out of the market. So what are the elements that you're looking for, and also how did they reach your level as the on the CEO level from really literally in the field throughout Bangladesh?
Sure, it's a very challenging question to answer at this moment because we are still learning, as I told you. So nevertheless, we would like to pivot ourselves primarily because as we have said, if you have seen the last 5-6 years journey that we have, every year we have some new experience, which has helped us to devise our strategy in a totally a different way. I mean, as we were going through this session right now, I was thinking and having a chat with the team why we are not exploring the postal services. Postal services is one of the strongest distribution channel that we have in this part of the world still. And as Tilanka was mentioning that, yes, there are challenges to work with such organization, but there is a benefit to it as well. So you see, personally, from my position, I would like to pivot and keep exploring. And as Jerick said, never bothered about taking the risks, taking the challenge, and experimenting ourselves. So that's the motto we have with regards to impact insurance or agri insurance, whatever you say.
Right. And back to you, Jerick. A question from Aparna is: can you make like experiments a bit more concrete? What does it look like? What are the kind of tools that you're using, again, first of all, to devise maybe an experiment, but also then again to get some lessons learned?
Okay. Thank you, Bert, and thank you, Aparna. So first, Bert, let me, to us, it's less of the tools, although I can talk about one. It's more of the practice, like the philosophy that we have, Bert. I often talk about the three rules that we follow in Pioneer. Number one, never operate microinsurance from within the confines of the office. Always go out because the truth is out there. Number two, if we don't know the answer to any question, we just have to simply ask the customer, and more often than not, we find that answer from the customer. When I say customer here, I also include partners and all other stakeholders. And number three, to whatever we learn from the customers, we take it back to our organization and tweak the organization accordingly. So it's kind of outside in approach. Now, Aparna, a specific practice we do is the immersion. We actually live with our clients once a year, once every 2 years, for multiple days, 3-5 days. And we do have specific research agenda when we do this. It's either we do a research about products, about process. So then we have log sheets. We take it back, we process the learning, we share it among ourselves in the team and even to the partner. So that's a very specific approach that we do in Pioneer on a regular basis. But we are not able to do it now because of the pandemic, but we do plan to continue it afterwards. So thank you, Bert.
All right, Ovia, and that brings me actually to you. With the Microinsurance Master, we have quite some active WhatsApp groups, and often we see you with pictures in the field. So you as a CEO from the company, you really go out very often and talk to customers. What is the kind of insights that you're getting from your customers and that you're after? So put it differently, do you find it for yourself as a CEO important to spend time with your customers? What is it that you're getting from there that you wouldn't be able to get from your teams?
Thank you so much, Bert. Yeah, like you said, I really like going out there, mixing with my customers, because I want to learn from them. I want to know them better and I learned this from Pioneer, when I was there for my microinsurance master in 2019. So I saw how Jerick, how Sir Lorenzo Chan is always out there. So I feel like, why can't I do the same? Why can't I be like them? Why can't I stay with my people, learn a lot from them? Like Jerick said, sometimes we ask ourselves questions and that we don't have the answer. So, but when you're there, when you interact with them, you get to know the answers for every question that you may be asking yourself. So I really like it to be out there with them, to know them better, and to design good solutions that will add value to them.
Okay, great. And obviously, for you as a standalone microinsurance company, the pressure is on you. I already said it at the start. At SoftLogic and at Green Delta and Pioneer, they have a bit more room to experiment, I believe, because it's like one of the product lines, right? Whereas microinsurance, that is what really you do as a business. So you better make it work. So I'm wondering, like, how much of patience do you sometimes have with kind of letting a product to continue, or to push it and without making shortcuts? So what are the indicators ultimately that you're looking for to say, yes, we still need to continue, we're still on the good track, or no, let's stop this and focus our energy and funding somewhere else?
Yeah, but thank you so much. I must say that some of our products are really challenging, but again, I think I got this optimism from Mr. Lorenzo Chan of Pioneer. So, when they had started their micro insurance company or something, and, the board were like on their neck because of these typhoons that were following them. And they were, and the Chan, Lorenzo, and Jerick, they persisted. They said, we have to pay claims. So they paid claims. Through paying claims, they build trust in their clients. So I feel like we can't just back out. I feel we should never give up because then, like, Pioneer now is really a very success story. So if they backed up, then I think I don't know what would be referring to. So I feel we should never give up. We should never back out before trying all the possible avenues. We should first employ all the tricks. We redesign if necessary. We reprice, we retest, and we change distribution channels if possible. And I'm sure you will one day get it right and break through. So I must say, try and fail, but never fail to try. Try and fail, but never fail before you try.
All right. There is a good competition going on with the best quote of the session and maybe the conference. Let's see how far we can drag it. But I like that a lot indeed, and never fail to try. Tilanka, also
okay, let me repeat it. Try and fail. Sorry, I was going to put, try and fail, but never fail before you try.
Got it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Tilanka, also to you, a bit of a question on like, what's on your board table, basically? Because you have on the one hand your mobile product with like 580,000 products, and then you're there with the postal, which is like 5, 6, 7,000. So like the top line numbers, the premium income, like the number of insured, that's not really going to excite you near your management, I suppose. So what are the elements that you're looking at to kind of to say, yes, this is something we're on the right track here?
So, but the numbers that are brought in at the moment is actively about 15 to 20 post officers that are bringing in these numbers, right? The potential is 4,000 post officers. Just imagine the multiplication of how many. Even if we activate 100 next year, 2022, that's just auto mode. Just like auto mode, it will happen. So our target is actually how do we take these 20 officers, the post officers that is bringing this number of revenue to us, make it 5 times. So yes, it needs involvement in people and also time and effort, building awareness, building training and development for the post staff. But that's part and parcel of how these insurance and affordable insurance works. So our target is to just keep multiplying this model where 20, we say maximum 20 bringing this number. I have 4,000 post offices around Sri Lanka. That's, how many times? That's how we want it to work.
So you want to make the model work right on a smaller scale, and then to bring it to the next level.
So if we can mirror this effect for 2022 to maybe 100 post offices, then we know the formula is correct. Because when you have a benchmark in terms of how we want to do it, then it's a matter of just expanding and making it go boom. So what the COVID and the lockdowns and all the feedback has given us the opportunity to take ourselves learning in terms of what we want to do. And now we believe that very firmly, we believe that this is the model that can get expanded. So I'm looking at 100 post offices by end of 2022. That will give me 5-10 times more than this number for sure.
Yeah, perfect. That's very interesting indeed. So Moin, just as Sri Lanka is pioneering with the postal, you're pioneering on flood insurance, which obviously is still another ball game. So you're still learning. That's what you said, and still experimenting and trying out. Do you have the idea you're almost there, or is there still a lot of changes, tweaks, and etc. that need to be made in order to make the product right?
Well, since we're dealing with a lot of sub-segments of agri insurance, and the aim is basically to create some meaningful impact at the marginal farmers level. So we have created a department called Impact Insurance Unit, Impact Insurance Business Unit. So now what we are trying to bundle all sorts of micro insurance concept under the impact insurance concept, so that we can touch as many lives as possible. And the only way to do it is basically go out there, try to learn about the lifestyle, livelihood of the people of the target segment, and devise a plan which will actually benefit them. So if we can do it correctly, only then we will be able to reach to a sustainable level. Other than that, we have to keep trying and look for the numbers, which is really right for us to, say that we are there. But if you ask me today, I would say, frankly, we still have a long way to go. I mean, we are planning very big projects in the next 2-3 years. If all those come into fruits, definitely you might see a different picture on a positive note in the graphs in the coming days in the micro insurance. So we are still exploring, and we would love to grow in whatever way we can.
And so, talking about that, how much of time do you allow your products before you kind of say, now we pull them? Do you have like a fixed time, you say 3 years, 5 years, that's when they need to break even and contribute to our profit? Or how do you look at that internally?
See, when it comes to break even, a lot of factors need to be considered. You understand, we started with a small team of 2-3 people. Now the team is close to more than 15 people, and we have operations in remotest places of the country. So as we move up the ladder, the cost of doing business is also increasing. And when you have a risky portfolio like flood index, it adds to the cost. So it's very challenging situation from our side as a corporate, that how we can make it more sustainable yet meaningful to the target market. So we believe that we are not in a position to say that this product has a life cycle of 3 years, or we want to abandon this product. We are still keeping all the products open, so that in any course of time, if there is an opportunity comes in, so that we can tap that same product. Because Bangladesh is a small country, yes, there are a lot of varieties into crop, but then again, if we focus on the cash crops, or if we focus on the vegetables, there are a handful of products to deal with. As of now, we have developed over 20+ products, I would say, if we go into the sub segments. But we believe all these products have equal opportunity to grow in the future.
Thank you, Moin. We're running to the close of our time. So, Jarek, I would like to give you some of the closing minutes. And one of them is, recently I spoke to someone who referred to Pioneer as a unicorn. And I would love not Pioneer to be a unicorn when it comes to microinsurance, that there is, it becomes like something that way more insurers are able to reach the scale that you've been able to achieve. So what are some of the elements that also from the conversation here that you really would like to highlight? Obviously, we have never failed to experiment, but some of the encouragement or recommendations that you would like to make.
Okay, thank you, Bert. And so when you look at the Pioneer story, I think we came into a situation in a market where all potential elements to success were already ripe for the picking. There was market demand. We had good regulation supporting us. We of course had the support of organizations, international organizations making things happen, and not to mention the microinsurance network that has really given us the opportunity to network and get to know like-minded individuals. But when I personally reflect about our journey, Bert, the biggest lesson that Pioneer did, which should be so obvious in the conversations here among our panelists, is we've just never stopped learning and talking to our clients. That's the only thing that, everything else can probably be thrown out of the window. So when you reflect about this idea, and if you're a leader of a microinsurance organization in whatever market, it shouldn't be that difficult, right? As what Ovia said, because all you need to do is just talk to your customers, ask a lot of questions, listen to what they're saying, identify what is common and what is trending, and build your proposition around it. You might call it a product, you might call it a program, you might call it a solution. As long as you figure out what makes sense, they will eventually gravitate towards it. And that is really the lesson of Pioneer. Just never stop talking to clients. So I hope that's something that everyone can take away from this, Bert.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. Never stop talking to your clients. Try and fail, but never fail before you try. We have a tremendous array of quotes here, and I do like them all. With that, I really would like to thank you, Jarek, and obviously Moin, Tilanka, and Ovia for the brave gesture and sharing your honest story, because sometimes we hear a lot of the outside and the PR kind of the story, but we all know that if you really want to make it work in microinsurance, it's hard work and it takes time to do so. And with that, I really believe that sharing your stories is inspirational, and especially is giving all of the attendees and people who will watch this later a lot of courage to not give up and to keep on trying to make sure that we will reach a more inclusive market and can reach more people with better microinsurance solutions. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you also to all of the participants for your active contribution. I'm much looking forward to learning along this week and later. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Bert. Thank you, all the panelists. Very interesting session. Was called Failure. I think it was rather a hard start and then lessons learned. So very good insights. So now it's lunchtime. We don't have a link for the lunch. So take your own lunch and then please come back here at 2 p.m., 14 o'clock UTC +1, so European Berlin, Luxembourg time. And see you then. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.